Hi, I'm Buck WSR Weezer, and I'm here today with my bride of 27 years. She's behind the camera. 20 years ago, we bought this house and put in this floor in the kitchen. And it probably has needed to be changed for about the last 10 years, and today we're going to do it. I'm going to show you how to install a new kitchen floor. You can just take a look at this floor and see how worn it is. And you know what? I don't even think I did a good job installing it 20 years ago. It's sheet linoleum, and I just didn't cut it well, and it really needs to be replaced. Now we've got some self-adhesive vinyl tiles that we're going to install, which we got at the Home Depot for normal people. Oh, and I wanted to tell you, by the way, that our video today is coming courtesy of the Mount Laurel Living Nativity. It seems I wear these Living Nativity sweatshirts in all of my videos. It's 13 walkthrough scenes that take you through the Bible story. We run it at Christmas time for the first 3 weekends in December. Check out livingnativity.org for more information. As part of the Fellowship Community Church in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Well, the first step in installing a floor is getting everything out of the kitchen and removing the old floor. You take around, take a look around, you'll see I got a lot of stuff to get out of here before I can even get ready to rip up this old one. The fridge will have to come out. This table here, trash cans, miscellaneous items. So we're going to empty out this floor and get ready to take out the old linoleum. That's the first step. Alright, so far I don't have the room completely empty. The stove is still here, but I wanted to show you a couple other things that are part of the preparation for installing the new floor. I'm going to take this heater register out, and you might be able to see that when I originally installed the floor, I had not yet put in this baseboard, so I took the floor pretty much under there and then put the baseboard on top. Now this time, I'm not taking off this baseboard, but I'll take the new floor right up to it, and then maybe we'll use a quarter round around these places where there's baseboard. Another thing that I wanted to show you over here is we decided to, while we're at it, replace the kick plate beneath our kitchen cabinets. They're just made out of a particle board that 20 years of use and water, they start to deteriorate. So part of my preparation, it will not just be taking the floor up, but also removing the kick plates around the kitchen cabinets. Another preparation step, will be remove this threshold / transition between the kitchen and the dining room. And I'm going to take care of that right now. So these are just some of the preliminary steps in getting rid of the old floor and preparing to install the new one. Yeah, okay, so the floor is prepared. I've removed the kick plate, got the fridge out, and the stove is removed. Just also provides a good time to clean the parts of the cabinets that are hard to reach normally. And I think it's about time that we start taking this floor up. I'm just going to take a razor knife and cut it a little bit. And start taking it up that way. It's nothing fancy. Yep, bumping the tripod there. All right. So most of it is just laying on top of this Luan plywood. There may be some spots down here that I glued down under the stove, but I think most of this is just going to come up real easily. I may have used some staples under the baseboard, and it might be a little tough pulling it out from under there, but I don't think it's going to be that difficult really. So I'm going to keep working on that and pulling it up, and I'll bring you back in after this demolition's done, and we'll talk about what material we're going to put down for the new floor. Okay, so the floor has been removed completely, the old flooring. And what I've been doing is going around cleaning the perimeter and vacuuming, getting up dust and debris. Under the stove area, I can't entirely get up all of this residue and what do you call it, glue. And nor do I care about working too hard to do that, since it's going to be hidden underneath the stove. So right now I'm just cleaning, going to vacuum up all this dust. When I first put this floor in 20 years ago, I took great pains when I put this Luan down to make sure there was nothing coming up, and it's really been smooth. Nothing ever protruded through the linoleum. And it's still really solid and clean and in good shape, so I won't feel bad at all installing the new tiles right on top of it. You do have to make sure your floor is nice and smooth and clean. I'm going to finish that up and then start strategizing the new floor install. Well, we're about ready to lay these tiles down, so let me tell you what we got here. We got these from the Home Depot, as I said, the TrafficMaster self-stick vinyl tile. 10 tiles per box, so these are 1 foot by 2 foot each tile. So that's that. And now this tile gives you the option to just butt them up right one against the other, or to space them and put grout in. So I'm going to use the 1/8 inch spacers, and we will grout this with grout. So that's going to make it look more like natural tile. Now I've got it laid out here on the kitchen floor. The instructions say you should not put it directly over wood that hasn't been primed, but I am not going to take the step of priming that. This is clean and dry. I have a feeling it will stick just fine to this. Now I've laid out the tiles just to see how I want to do it, and then I've drawn lines indicating where I want to start my center point. And I'll explain to you how I decided to do that. First of all, going from left to right here, I don't want to have a small piece of tile that's only 1 inch or 2 wide, so I want to do it in such a way that it will be, so there's like 9 or 10 inches. That's okay. I just don't want to end up with a joint 1 inch away from the wall. So that's how I determine my center line, left to right. Now, front to back, I actually measured here, and so from the sink, the base of the sink cabinet to the edge of the kitchen measures 97 inches. So that's 8 foot 1 inch. Now these tiles are 1 inch wide, 1 foot wide, plus an 1/8 inch space between them will take me exactly to 97 inches right there. So again, I'm trying to make sure I don't end up with just a small sliver of a tile, you know, when you get to the edge of the room. So that's how I determine the center point from which I want to work out in all directions. Now we're going to stagger these in such a way that we have a joint here, then halfway down it meets the next tile halfway down. So you're going to overlap in more of a brickwork pattern like that. Now these tiles, unlike some on the back, do not say anything about direction in which to lay them. Some tiles are very specific that they all have to be laid down facing the same way. We do have some words made in China, and I think I might just use that as my guide. And I'll just put them all the same way, like that. So I've got my lines laid out, and now it's time to lick them and stick them, which is what I like to talk about with these self-adhesive. You don't actually have to lick them or even wet them. You just remove the paper on the back. So let's get started with that. Alright, so I wanted to point out one more thing. Now I told you, since we're going to stagger them in a brickwork type pattern, we had the one line that I drew, and then 12 inch and 1/8 inches away I drew another one. That's because the tiles are 2 feet long, so half of it is 1 foot with a 1/8 inch spacer. Means 12 and 1/8 inches. That's where I drew that line. So I'll have that line to know how to do my second takeoff one. Alright, so let's see if we can do this. Oh look, there's a friend. Hey Lou! You ready for a new kitchen floor? You ready for a new kitchen floor right there? Yeah, that's where the first one's going down. I got a friend. Alright Lou, beat it. You're holding up progress. Alright, so I'm going to try to put these down all facing the same way with Made in China pointing that way. And I've got my dust brush because I don't want any dust under it. So with each tile that I lay, I will first dust it off. First time I'm using these, we'll see how it goes. Peeling the paper. Lining up our marks. And down it goes. Residue. Alright, now I've got my spacers, and right here I could put the next one, make sure we're dust free, and these are the 1/8 inch spacers to guide us there. See what we can do. So this one, Made in China, is facing this way. I'm going to start here. Start at this corner. Not sure if you can even see that. Yeah. Start at this corner with the spacers here and here. I'll get that second one in place. Spacers against the lines. And there we go. We got 2 down. So I guess this spacer could. You know, once you put it in, the spacers are really not needed because the tiles stick in place by themselves, right? Alright, so that's pretty good. Put this piece in here next. Brush, Made in China, facing this way. Put a spacer there. Put a spacer there. I imagine you could just eye these up without actually needing to use those spacers. the spacers do give you something to push up against. It's kind of nice. All right, there's 3. We got 3 down. I like that pretty good. You say to be careful of the paper because it's kind of sticky. So now I'm going to put the next one right up in here. Sure we got no dust. No, 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 no. You stay out. That's Lulu. She's interfering. I need to get a few more of those spacers. Lulu. So that's the reason I've got the second line. So I know to start this one up against this line. If you were not going to stagger them in this brickwork type pattern, you wouldn't need to draw 2 parallel lines like that. Slide them up into place. That's our line. Down we go. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Making some progress here. I like that. So we're here in the middle and we're just gonna work our way around. Alright, a couple here, a couple here, made in China facing up that way. Move the backing. Slide it up in place. And press it down. And thus we proceed. Right. So I'm going to just keep busting it out that way. Eventually I'll have to make some cuts. Supposedly you can cut these with scissors, sharp scissors or razor knife. And I'm just going to keep moving along here. Okay, so I've got down some of the full-sized pieces and now we're going to try to do a couple of these here in the corner where we have to do some cuts. And I think this this piece right here should be fairly easy to do because I'm simply going to take a measurement from here to there and make a straight cut on one of these pieces. So here to there is 7 3/4. We need an 1/8 inch of a space. So why don't we say 7 1/2 to play it safe. All right, so that means it's going to be this portion. Let's make sure we can see that. It's going to be this portion of the tile that we're going to use. So I'm going to measure what did we say? 7.5. Because we do need space for the grout, and it doesn't have to go tight up against there. No one's gonna know. 7.5. Yeah, I'm using a permanent marker because that's easy to see. And again, it's going to be underneath that kick plate once we install it, so no one's even going to know. Wah-ha-ha. Alright. So I think that's enough of a line, right? Now, I've got scissors, but I also have these tin snips, and I'm thinking these might work pretty good. I can't imagine regular scissors going through this that easily. I mean, these things are what? Almost 1/8 of an inch thick. Alright, so that should be pretty good. And alright, so that's going to fit in there. And again, it's not going all the way up against this cabinet, but we're going to put a kick plate that's about a 1/2 inch thick across there. So I think it's going to be fine just like that. So let's get a couple spacers. We'll remove our paper. A little extra Klingons, probably because of cutting it. All right. All right, so that guy's in place. That's not too bad. All right, let's try this again. Somebody's crunching on something.
Sorry, I'm eating seaweed.
That's weird.
That's good though.
Alright, so I did something backwards, but I think
You got it.
I can still salvage the overall project without having to start over. However, it's nice to know that starting over with a new piece is an option if you
Yeah, you just use that one somewhere else.
screw it up. Yeah, maybe so. How's that look?
Much better.
I can live with that.
It needs a little bit more of a grout space.
Well, I'm doing quarter round.
No, here. Right there, there's no space for a...
Well, I didn't put my spacers in yet.
Yeah, there's no room for a spacer yet. Looks awesome.
Alright, so a spacer's gonna go there, here, and here.
Don't peel it yet. Don't peel it.
Why?
I want to see what it looks like. You have enough room for the spacers on the front? Oh, you do. Oh, that's perfect. Good. Okay, never mind. Cancel it. That's the only thing I said.
Cancel the ham.
Looks great. Don't you want to make jokes about that woman?
What?
Don't you want to make jokes about...
On camera? Aren't you recording this?
Yeah, whatever. I'm making comments and people don't like hearing me talk.
What do they know?
Whatever. Need help?
Jumped off on me.
That looks good. It's good enough.
Good enough?
Mm-hmm. This one's feeling pressure a little bit.
All right. So, some of those cuts are a little bit challenging, but I think we did okay with that corner.
Good. That looks good.
All right, so we can pause the camera and get back to putting in some of the big pieces to keep covering this floor.
Right.
Okay, everybody, so there you go. You're looking at the tiles. They've all been laid, placed, self-stick tiles, and it looks pretty good. It has not been grouted yet. That's going to be the next step. But all the tile has been cut, and it really does look like ceramic tile. And yet it's so much easier to work with. So next is to grout these joints, and I'm going to let Mrs. Weezer do that, and I'm going to run out to the Home Depot. I'm going to get some of the kick plates for the base of the cabinets. I'm going to get some quarter round for along the baseboard. I'm going to get a new heating register for right there, and a new threshold to bridge the gap between the kitchen and the dining room. Alright, so stay tuned for the grouting. It's coming up next.
So we take a microfiber cloth and wet down the tiles. What we're going to do. And then you want to get a little bit of your mud, of your grout, stick it on. Right here, good? For you to see it. And push it into the grout, into the, what are they called? The
Joints?
The joints, thank you, the joints. Like that. And then you can take your float and pull it across to remove the excess. Like that. Then you take your sponge and you want to wipe the excess off by going over it. Rinsing it out, flipping the sponge, and do what you can to remove as much of the grout that's on the surface of the tile without removing the stuff inside. That's just a little demo, because I gotta do a lot of removal right here. But I'm happy with the way it looks. You think it looks okay?
Yeah, it's good. I'm just glad you're doing that part.
I like it. I don't know if I do it right, but I like it. All right. So I'm going to keep going while you run out to Home Depot and get some more parts.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a plan.
Well, there you have it. The floor's done. It's grouted. The self-adhesive tiles are down. They look like ceramic tile. No one's going to know that they're not. Yet they're warmer. They don't feel cold. I've got the new molding around threshold between the dining room and the kitchen, and it's all done and looks good. And it's exciting. Not sure why we waited 20 years between kitchen floors, but this really turned out nice. I'm not a professional. You can see how easy it was to do. It's very forgiving. You screw up, you just grab another tile and cut it again. And the final effect, I think, is really, really good. So I want to thank you on behalf of Mrs. Weezer and myself for joining us on our new kitchen floor project. I hope this is of help to you, and we'll see you next time on our next video. Please like and subscribe. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.